I don't know what happened with that. I apologize that the intro got jumpy, but welcome to Sports Gladiators on the Basement Show with Mr. Knast. I am Mr. Knast. Joining me back in the show tonight, we have Mr. Ron.
Hey
Mike
guys.
Russo might make an appearance tonight. If not, you have me and Ron for the next 2 hours to talk about a wonderful, crazy, fun-filled weekend in the NFL and the Wildcard Weekend. So,
Yeah, it was a crazy one, that's for sure. I've seen all kinds of wild cards, and I have to say there was more happenings in this one probably than anyone I can remember recently.
yeah. Good evening to the Curtis says good evening to the best streamer out there. No, Curtis, good evening to the best fan around. So Curtis is always in here. He's a big supporter.
Yes,
I know he must be a little heartbroken tonight, given the fact that his Dolphins lost to Buffalo. But we'll talk about that game a little bit later. I thought they were going to pull it out, though. I had some hope for him. So
hey, it took it all the way to the end.
that's what they did.
That's for sure.
Close that out. So if you're just tuning in, good evening. Welcome to the show. Let us know that you're in chat. We love the interaction here. So I'm going to pull. Let me go back to slide one. I don't want to give my slideshow away.
Hi, Morgan.
Hi, Morgan. Thanks for popping in, even if you're just stopping by. But
Always appreciated.
I understand Curtis is upset. Curtis, you gotta think though it was a season of promise. If you guys can fix the injuries with Tulu, keep him healthy, I think you guys make a deep run. So you guys will be back. Keep your head up. I promise.
Yeah, there's some great talent on that team. They just need a little bit of a break.
Morgan says, "Boo Eagles." I know she was going to say something like that.
Well, they.
She's always been that way. I give her a pass. She was a Patriots fan growing up because of Tom Brady. So
Okay.
but now with everything going on with the political aspects, she gave up on football, which I can't say I don't blame her. The game has changed a lot.
Well, we can root for Tom Brady tonight, though. We're all Tampa Bay fans tonight, I think.
Yeah, in some ways, yes. In some ways, yes. So I made another wonderful slideshow that I love making. So, I mean, besides for the San Francisco Seattle game, which at one point was actually a very close game, all these games were one possession games this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, that Seattle game was close at halftime, but then
she says
San Francisco just hit a different gear.
Yeah. So we got Mr. Ken in the stream. Good evening, Ken. Hope you're feeling better. I don't know if you're still in the hospital or you're back home. I hope you're feeling better. And Sheldon's already here. He's saying we got the ball.
Nice.
He was telling me he might make a special appearance because him being a Dallas fan, he wants to watch the game from start to finish. So Sheldon, thanks for popping in.
Yep. Yeah, let's see if Gronk can make that field goal for $10 million for somebody.
Oh yeah, is that what they're doing tonight?
At the halftime of the Super Bowl, Gronk is kicking a field goal live, and if he hits it, the person who he's kicking for wins $10 million.
Wow. Can't beat that deal.
Yeah. Sign me up.
Have they announced the fan yet? Or
No, it's going to be by a drawing. So they haven't gotten that far yet, but I'm sure they'll publicize it when they make the pick.
Ken says, I want to thank you all for the going well wishes. Home resting now.
Nice. Good job.
That's great news to hear, Ken. Now you can sit back on your couch, relax, heal, and listen to the show.
Yeah, man.
And Sheldon says, anything for me? Well, Sheldon, this show is for the fans, so thank you.
And no elevators, Ken. So
yeah.
you don't have to worry about your signal.
or random nines popping up. He had the issue with the nines, remember?
Yes.
So.
Yep.
9.
9.
But yeah, the San Francisco Seattle game was a tale of two halves. Same with the Chargers and Jacksonville game.
Well, yeah. I would say so.
I mean, Miami was up on Buffalo in the first half of that game. I think they were actually winning at halftime 17-16. Giants and Minnesota was back and forth.
Yep.
And Cincinnati won on a fluky play, you might as well say.
Yeah.
So,
On a 98-yard fumble return on a quarterback sneak. You don't see that every day.
Very true. There's something I want to ask you about that game once we get to it. I want to get your honest opinion on it. So
okay,
but I'll slide it over. I'm sorry, these are so hard to read. My Google Slides acted really bad this week, but Geno Smith was 25 or 35 for 253, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. He also had a strip sack in the second half that turned the game.
Yep.
You can't count Dougie P out? Absolutely not. I love it. Kenneth Walker III, a promising young back, 15 rushes for 63 yards and 1 touchdown. DK,
yeah, he looked good.
Yeah, and then DK had a great game, 10 receptions, 136 and 2 touchdowns, including a 50-yard touchdown in the first half. I had mentioned that the Seahawks were winning this game 17-16 at halftime, so they kept it close for a while, but then fell apart.
Yeah, that's the best you can say because San Fran just opened it up in the second half and never looked back.
Yes, and then Mr. Purdy, who is playing at an MVP level, I must say. I mean, I might get some grief for that. I'm sorry, but
how about MVP for Mr. Irrelevant?
I'll go with that.
I'll go with that. I don't think he's on the level of Mahomes and Hurts, but he is playing very, very well right now. I have to give you that.
San Francisco is and can be a very scary team. They are the biggest threat right now in the NFC, in my opinion.
I would say. Yeah. I mean, they got a strong defense. They got offenses clicking. Yeah, you definitely gotta put them in the conversation. I would probably be more scared of them than I would be of Dallas if just the fact that Brock hasn't been in a big time playoff game with a hostile crowd like Philly, coming into Philly as a rook, that's a whole nother ball game where at least Dak's used to playing there.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas could be a scary team, but Dak's biggest problem as of late, he's turning the ball over too much. Yeah. And Sheldon, I don't know if Sheldon's still listening, but I hope Sheldon agrees. Like, Dak Prescott's thrown 2 interceptions a game the last 6 games.
Well, yeah, we said that last week. He actually was tied for the league lead in interceptions, and he played 5 less games than anybody else.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Dalton is the name. Dalton Schultz just scored a touchdown. That's why Sheldon's putting that comment.
Okay. That was quick.
Yeah. So I get the reference to Dalton is his name. So I had the game on beside me.
Yeah, not Andy Dalton anymore. You had him and he got rid of him. So,
I mean, if you look at the Dallas Cowboys history, they had a lot of proven veteran backup quarterbacks.
Yeah.
John Kitna, Kyle Orton, Drew Bledsoe back in the day. Like, they just could never piece them together. I don't know why.
That's true.
But San Francisco is a complete team right now, I would say, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
I agree with that.
Mr. Purdy was 18 of 30 for 332, 3 touchdowns, and had 1 rushing touchdown. So he was actually the first rookie to throw 3 TDs and run for one in a playoff game. No other rookie has ever done that. I found that kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And then Christian McCaffrey.
They got a stat for anything these days, don't they?
I'm actually kind of getting tired of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And then McCaffrey had 15 rushes for 119 yards, 2 receptions, and a touchdown. So he did his thing.
Yep. Debo had a couple nice plays too. So Debo Samuel.
Yep. 6 receptions for Debo, 133, and a touchdown. He also ran the ball, 3 for 32. So between McCaffrey and Samuel, you got two players that are skilled at their position, but they can play multiple positions.
Right.
That's what makes them scary. You gotta account for two people instead of just one. So Sheldon says he's happy for Doug in Jacksonville. I am a big Jacksonville fan right now. So
I'm a big Doug fan. So yeah, right now I'm a big Jacksonville fan as well because they I like their heart. I like the fact that they were able to recover from the Urban Meyer experience and get a coach in there who could actually connect with the players, who actually had some pedigree to him. And I think he's the quarterback whisperer, like I said before. I mean, he's a guy who works very, very well with quarterbacks.
Yes.
So being an ex-backup quarterback himself. So.
Mm-hmm. And then my only other two notes on this game were San Fran outscored Seattle 25-6 in the second half. So the floodgates open, and then the 49ers will host the winner of the Tampa Bay Dallas game next Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox. And rumor has it they're getting the A team. We're not. So
yeah.
The question is, can Jacksonville beat Kansas City though? I know they would never quit, and DP has a young team playing very well. I have an honest opinion on that. I think they can, and I will talk about that in a couple minutes as we dive into the second round matchups. So Ken, stay tuned. I will answer that question for Mr. Ken, I promise.
Yep.
Second game on the list is, of course, the Jacksonville Chargers game. Justin Herbert, I don't know exactly what happened, started off on fire, but then he finished 25 of 43. Love the shirt on. Also,
five turnovers.
Yeah, and just the first quarter, straight out of
shenanigans.
Okay. Not gonna lie, the Seahawks were the one team that sparked any interest in football for me. Not sure how significant they are to the entire franchise, but still wanted to state that.
Yeah. I mean, it was a tribute that they made it. I mean, they got a year out of Geno Smith that nobody expected. I mean, they let Russell Wilson go, and Geno stepped up, and he had pretty much a career year. So you really the team rallied around him, and they played some good football this year. So the fact that they made the playoffs was great, but I think that they just got into a situation where you're going head to head against that San Francisco team. It's in San Francisco. You're going to have some challenges.
Yeah, I mean, then after the game, Geno Smith was quoted as saying that he wants to finish his career in Seattle. Do you think they bring him back as a quarterback going forward, or do they gotta go in a different direction?
I think based on what he did this year, I think they give him another year. I think that he's shown that he can run that offense, and they can maybe draft a guy, because they don't necessarily have a high pick. I'm not sure where they're drafting at right off the top of my head, but so they're probably drafting somewhere in the 20s. Maybe pick up a developmental guy, maybe round 2, round 3, and let him sit behind Geno for a year and let Geno do his magic for one more year if he's going to play at that same level.
Because you also got to wonder, because they acquired Drew Luck in that trade for Russell Wilson, what happens with Drew Luck going forward?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I don't know what you do with him. Honestly, I really don't know what the long range plan is for him. I don't know that they definitely think that he's the future. But hey, you never know what they're thinking there.
That is true. Ken said all Chargers coaching staff needs to be fired, but that's their quarterback and made a lot of poor decisions. But now, if that was Derek Carr, he's to blame. Sorry, Raiders and Carr fan, they're doing Carr dirty. Absolutely.
Yeah. Carr was the scapegoat for their failures, and that organization is just a mess. I mean, ever since they moved,
well,
they're just in disarray right now. So
I'd say it even started before that. When Al Davis died and Mark Davis took over, it became a laughing stock too.
right, and now they're talking about building a new stadium in Vegas.
And what about Allegiant Stadium?
Oh no, that's a baseball stadium. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, what Allegiant Stadium?
They just built. Yeah, they just built the football stadium. They're building a baseball stadium downtown.
Oh geez. So with the Jacksonville game, Herbert was 25 of 43, 273 yards and a touchdown. Austin Eckler only 13 rushes for 35 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jared Everett, the tight end they acquired from the Rams, was 6 receptions, 109 yards and a touchdown. And then Keenan Allen added 6 for 61. And then Asante Samuel Jr. had the first quarter that any second-year player wishes he could ever have. 3 interceptions all in one quarter. Yeah. He had 2 interceptions his whole career going into this game. It was absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah, well, I mean, he threw 4 in the first half.
Yeah.
So he had 5 turnovers altogether. Just usually like teams that turn the ball over 5 times just don't normally win games. Yeah. But them being able to shut Eckler down was a big part of why they ended up winning the game because Eckler just couldn't get it going.
Mm-hmm. Ken says, just like his father. Hey, if your father is Asante Samuel, you got to live up to the reputation. I'm sorry.
So, yeah, that's for sure.
And then I made a couple quotations. Jacksonville obviously led this game 27-0 at halftime. So everybody's waiting the ship that Jacksonville is done. Chargers are moving on, but tale of 2 halves. And then Joey Bosa had 2 very costly unsportsmanlike penalties in the fourth quarter. So, and he might get fined for one of them at least because he slammed his helmet down on the ground and almost hit a referee with it. So,
yeah, absolutely. And then he doubled down on it today when he made a statement in a press conference or after the game, and basically said that screw the referees, more or less, is what it amounted to. I mean, he's the one that rips his helmet off and slams it on the turf. Yeah. And somehow that's the referee's fault. That's what I don't get.
Yeah. And Ken says, nobody talks about the Jags' run defense. I think they're in the top 5 or 10. I would have to double check your stats, Ken, but I will do that and I will have an answer for you. Yeah. And Sheldon says, I was right. And then David said, you mentioned baseball. I know you're focusing on football, but I have to say, years ago, I attended a Phillies game with my stepdad. Let me say, what a spectacle. The memory reminds me highly of mine growing up. Yeah. Anytime you can go to a sporting event that brings you back to your pastime, it means so much. Yeah, you take that second to soak it all in, and like you ask yourself, am I really here? Like years back, 2008. Sorry, Sheldon. The 44-6 game, Eagles-Dallas. The Eagles needed 3 teams to lose that day, and the Eagles to win. Well, the 3 teams lost, so now Philly had to win, and they wound up winning 44-6. It's like, pinch me. Am I really sitting in this stadium right now watching this game?
Right.
So
that's the thing. I mean, those kind of memories will last forever. Absolutely. Yeah. Especially when it's connected to family and all that. I mean, that just really kind of puts a cherry on top,
Absolutely.
I remember going to games with my mom, and she's passed last year. But I mean, those memories will be with me forever.
True words talk about magic. Absolutely.
Yep.
That's what it is. It's just a surreal feeling to be in that presence. So I got a really John from Sheldon. I knew I would.
Oh, there you go. Got one.
That's one.
Yep. If those keep it score at home, that's one really John. I can only hope to get a really Ron at some point during the evening.
So Trevor Lawrence was 28 of 47 for 288, 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Travis Etienne, who I'm actually fallen in love with. This kid is going to be something special if he can stay healthy. 20 rushes for 109 yards. He had one very big run in the fourth quarter that helped tremendously.
Right, and that was on a 4th and 1.
Yeah, and what was it? It was like a 25-yard run, wasn't it?
28 yards.
28.
Yeah, on a 4th and 1.
You got Sheldon laughing at you.
Yeah.
And then Evan Ingram, who has come on the last couple games, he's another pending free agent who this year only signed 1 year, $9 million deal. So Jacksonville might have to bring him back long term, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he's still, young-ish. I mean, he's not a kid, but he's got the pedigree. I don't see any reason why they can't make an investment in a guy like that. Who's still hasn't lost a step, but doesn't seem like anyway.
Yeah, he had 7 receptions for 93 yards and a touchdown. Christian Kirk added 8 for 78 yards and a touchdown. And then Zay Jones and Marvin Jones also had a touchdown.
Yeah, Ken, I saw that too. That's Trevor Lawrence went to Waffle House to celebrate the win.
Someone told me that last year.
And paid for everybody's meal. And still undefeated on Saturdays. That is correct. Since high school has never lost a game on a Saturday.
Wow. And then
so Kansas City better look out.
Yep, and that's where they're going this Saturday at 4:30.
Yep.
So, and then the next one we have the Miami Dolphins, Buffalo. I don't know how much you really want to talk about this one, but Buffalo has some work to do.
Yeah, it wasn't their best game.
No, I mean, Josh Allen had 2 costly interceptions that aided Miami to stay in this game. If Josh Allen's on this game, Buffalo blows them out.
I mean, the problem with Josh Allen is Josh Allen will make like these spectacular plays that nobody should be able to make. And then he'll turn around the next play and carry the ball like a loaf of bread and somebody smack it out of their hands.
Yeah. Well,
he's not good at protecting the ball when he's running. And he runs a lot.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, there's another quarterback that ran a lot on Sunday I'll talk about after this game. But
yep.
I mean, they kept Tyreek Hill in check. He only had 7 receptions for 69 yards. So, granted, they're playing with their third-string quarterback. So, the question is, if they have Tua, does Miami win this game?
Well, I don't know. The quarterback they had played pretty damn well. I mean, I don't know. Tua, who knows what percentage he would have been. If he had been cleared, he wouldn't have been at full strength. So I think this kid, performed pretty darn well considering. I mean, kept it a game all the way to the end. True. They still had a chance to convert that 4th down, and they would have been in field goal range. So who knows what would have happened after that point.
Sure. I mean, because you have Teddy Bridgewater, who's also very injury prone.
Yep.
A good, viable backup, but poor Teddy can't stay healthy.
No. Teddy might be at the end. I mean, he's just he's really breaking down.
That's possible. That's a tough question because if Lamar plays, Baltimore beats Cincinnati. Another good question, but there's something about Lamar that I want to talk about specifically when we get to that game. And that's the question I have for you when we get to it.
Okay.
So, but Diggs had 7 receptions for 114. Gabe Davis had a big game on the other side, 6 receptions, 113 yards and a touchdown. So, I mean, Allen had a field day passing wise, but he needs to hold on to better control of the ball.
There was even a Cole Beasley sighting in there.
Yeah, he had a touchdown. I forgot to put that.
So, but the only thing is, the man who disappeared, that's pretty much carried him in the beginning of the year, Isaiah McKenzie, has just become persona non grata in Buffalo. They just have totally taken him out of the mix.
Yeah.
And he was having a great year in the first half.
Absolutely. You're right about that.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him end up somewhere else first chance he gets, because I think that they've pretty much I can't say they've given up on him, but they certainly took him out of the mix at the back half of this season.
Sheldon's saying pick, so I guess he's ahead of us in this game. So
yeah,
that was just interception in the end zone. Wow, typical Brady. So the next one is what everyone is calling an upset of the weekend. I disagree. I
it
thought
seemed like everybody was calling it.
Everybody was calling it because of the 6th seed beating the 3 seed.
Yeah.
But the way Minnesota's been playing as of late, they were bound to be beaten, and they were.
Let's be honest, they were picking the Giants because of Kirk Cousins.
Yes. So
nobody believes in Kirk Cousins at all.
Well, he can't perform under the spotlight. I mean, his numbers weren't bad, but but this is the one I'm questioning because you have Daniel Jones, who's 25 of 35 with 2 touchdowns. I forget the rated yards. My bad.
Yeah.
17 rushing attempts for 78 yards, and then Saquon Barkley only carried the ball 9 times yesterday.
Yeah, you got to wonder if he may still be hurt.
I mean, it's just weird. It's just like, Daniel Jones has 8 more rushing attempts than a running back like Saquon. Granted, he had catches out of the backfield, but.
Well, I was going to bring this up later when we talked about the preview of the Eagles, but I mean, if Daniel Jones thinks that he's going to run 17, if he's running 17 times from Minnesota's defense, what's he going to be running from the Eagles defense? Yeah. Because he's got happy feet, is what he's got. He's like Jalen Hurts was last year. Look at one option, one read, boom, and then run.
Mm-hmm.
And he ain't seen nothing yet because he's going to face a pass rush this week that he ain't never seen, the likes of everybody being healthy and being ready to go.
You know, also had happy feet back in the day. I thought he was going to run over Philly. Michael Vick,
absolutely.
They thought, Vick's going to have a field day running the ball when Atlanta goes to Philly for the NFC Championship game. Non-existent.
Yep.
All you got to do is lock down your edge rushers and send them up the middle.
Yep.
So, but not going to talk much about this, obviously, but we all did call the Giants winning this game. I will admit that. But like Cousins, 31 or 39 for 273, 2 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook held in check. Hawkinson was the biggest receiver. Jefferson only had 47 yards, so kudos to the Giants secondary for shutting him down.
Right.
And then
that was another key.
Shutting down Jefferson for sure. Now, people were questioning Cousins especially. 4th and 8 on the final play of the game, and you're dumping off a 30-yard pass to your tight end. What are you thinking?
Nah. Yeah, you got to get that throw past the sticks. That's just there's no excuse for that. You can't count on a catch and run on a 4th down with the game on the line. Yeah, it was a bad decision.
So I even wrote what was Cousins thinking. Everybody was like baffled. Like 4th and 8, and you're throwing a 3-yard pass.
Yeah,
didn't make sense.
Nope. Agreed.
All right, you want to take this one? Go for it. I agree and laugh when he did that. Yeah, I think everybody did, Ken.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, Baltimore and the Bengals.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Huntley, 17 for 29 for 226, 2 touchdowns and an interception, 9 rushes for 54. And going to a point somebody brought up a minute ago, what if Lamar was in the game? Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, does Lamar? I'll tell you right now, the play that turned the game, obviously, was the 98-yard fumble on Huntley trying to go over the top and reaching the ball over, and he wasn't even close to the goal line, and he just put it up there for somebody to smack right out of his hands. And that's a play that they don't even call for Lamar. So if you say all things even up to that point, yeah, I could say that you can make a case. Maybe Lamar is a little different, but I mean, also on the Bengals side, I mean, it's not like Burrow had a stellar game. He only threw for a couple hundred yards. He only had one touchdown. He ran for one, but he only threw one. Chase was under 100 yards. Mixon was out of the picture. So, I mean, yeah, I think the Bengals got away with one here on the lucky play. I mean, if they don't smack that ball out and it bounces right up to the defender, I don't think that it's hard to say how the final would end up there, because they make that touchdown, it's a tie game, and then anything can happen at that point.
Okay. Yeah, all very good points.
Yeah. So now Cincinnati gets to go to Buffalo for real this time.
Yep.
So it seems like poetic justice, because that's where they should have played. Obviously, if the tragedy didn't happen, that's where they would have been playing when they were playing last time. So
Ken says, agreed and well said.
Thank you. Thanks.
Now, I'm going to bring this comment up. Because Lamar obviously didn't play. He hasn't played it over in a month. I get it. PCL sprain. You want to protect your knees. I get it. Okay? But you're a pending franchise quarterback. Okay? Why aren't you traveling with your team? Lamar didn't travel to Cincinnati for this game.
He's already got his bags packed. He's already out the door. He knows that they're not going to re-sign him.
But you're still a member of this team right now.
Yeah, but he don't care. Obviously, it's a maturity thing, I think, first and foremost. But, I mean, sometimes this is the time at the end of a contract when some quarterbacks show their true colors. And I just think that this is his true colors coming out. He was a me guy. He's a stat guy. He's a me guy. And as opposed to looking at it, somebody like a Trevor Lawrence, who's a young guy, but he's got that maturity level, and he's not a stats guy. He's a team guy, and that's the difference.
Ken says the Ravens are not resigning, and he has a very big ego, and it's all about Lamar. So pretty much how you just explained it, being a me guy. So
yep, absolutely, I agree, Ken.
So where does he wind up?
Well, that's the $64,000 question. As far as where do I think he ends up, I think that's a guy who could end up in, because it doesn't seem like he really cares about winning or about the team. He just cares about putting up stats. Maybe he's a guy that lands in a place like Carolina.
Yeah.
If they get a decent coach, maybe they can talk him into coming there and then kind of build around him.
So Ken says hopefully not the Raiders. The Raiders are another very interesting team because they sat Derek Carr the final, 2 games of the season.
Yep.
And favor of Jared Statham, and Derek Carr wasn't even with the team new. They sent him home.
Right.
So now there's multiple reports that Derek Carr winds up on a list of teams.
Yeah.
And
he's been rumored for a few different ones. Broncos.
I even heard the Giants.
I heard the Jets. I heard there was another one too. Those are the 2 that I remember right off the top of my head. But yeah, he's going to be linked to every team, I think, until he actually decides where he wants to go.
I'm thinking if Peyton signs as coach to Texans, Lamar could be a Texan.
There's no way Peyton goes to the Texans. Absolutely not.
No.
The Texans' job is going to be Jonathan Gannon.
I think so.
I'm almost 100% sure that's going to go to Gannon. He was on the short list last year when they picked Lovie Smith, And I think halfway through the season, they wish they picked the other way.
Now, is that interesting with the Raiders? Because the one name that they're throwing out there now as a what am I looking for? Possible solution is if somebody wants to come back, they make a run after Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Because of Josh McDaniels effect.
Yeah.
Or they try to swing a trade and get Mac Jones from the Patriots.
Okay.
So, I mean, very interesting. Sheldon says touchdown Dallas. I guess they scored on this play.
Why is he said who? Why is he a stat guy? Are you talking about Lamar? It's pretty clear that Lamar is all about Lamar's numbers. I mean, he's the style of play that he plays. He just seems like, to me, in my opinion, it seems like he's a guy who's just concerned with his numbers at the end of the day, and he could care less about anything else.
Huh?
That's my take on that.
I mean, he's always been about himself. We all know that. So.
Yeah.
And
looks like Dallas is off to a good start.
Yeah, but they missed 2 extra points now.
Oh, geez. Well, they'll be looking for a kicker this week.
Yeah. 12-0 Dallas with 6 minutes left in the second quarter.
Let's see if hopefully that doesn't come back to haunt them.
I don't know. I really haven't been able to keep my head on the swivel too much, but
yeah.
Maybe I'll have to put the TV up on my desk right here and have 2 monitors and then the TV.
Well, this will be the last Monday night game, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's weird.
Yeah.
What hurts the Raiders is their draft picks very horrible and cannot win games if defense is blowing leads and no higher than 28. I mean, that's a perfect way to say it. I mean, the Raiders pick horribly. They have the last 10 years. They reach for players instead of doing the smart thing. So
yeah, I mean, they almost remind me of some of the early drafts when Jeff Lurie had his hands all over it. You know, that they wanted to prove that they were smarter than everybody else and draft these, guys that nobody else was looking at just to prove that they were smarter than everybody else.
Yeah, and it blew up in Philly's face a couple times.
Yep. And then they finally gave up that strategy and Lurie stepped back.
Do you think they trade their only first-round pick away to sign a decent player to help out with experience? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. No. I think they got to start the rebuild, and they got to start it now. So I think they just got to take a young quarterback, start to rebuild at least one side of the ball, depending on which side. Kind of depends on, where they want to start. But I think they need to rebuild both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I agree. But no, you don't trade away a first pick to sign a decent player. I think the Raiders, I don't know the exact number. I could pull it up real quick if I had to. But the Raiders should have a decent amount of money, but they have a lot of pending big-name free agents. Yeah. Josh Jacobs is a free agent. Do you bring him back or not? So.
Well, I mean, my opinion, no. I mean, if you go by the model of successful teams, I mean, the running back position in today's NFL is not nearly as important as it was 20 years ago.
True.
It's a passing league now. So unless you've got a back that catches the ball out of the backfield on a consistent basis and has speed, the days of the big lumbering fullback types are pretty much fading away.
He only wants to come back as a quarterback. Then I guess
Well, then
Jacobs
I guess he's gone then because Carr ain't coming back.
So, the list I just pulled up is my lovely site Spot Truck, and according to this, the Raiders are going to have $20.8 million of cap space to start free agency. So that's actually a pretty good chunk of change.
Well, they were paying Carr $34 million too, so
yeah, that'll come off the books.
So that'll come off the books.
Now, what's really funny, and I kind of ironic, I didn't do a slide about it. I apologize. The Chicago Bears have the #1 overall pick, right? They're looking at maybe possibly trading it away, but if they don't, you have the #1 overall pick, and you have cap space of $115 million.
Scary, isn't it?
Wow. The Giants have the third most at 54.3.
Yeah.
They could do some major damage.
That's true.
Cincinnati, 48.3. Seahawks, 47.5. Baltimore has almost $41 million. So you're looking at the Eagles right now. They're only going to have 9.5. So they got some work to do. That's for sure.
Yeah, Howie always finds a way to restructure things and kind of kick the can down the road a little bit.
But then you got teams like Jacksonville who's trying to stay young. They're going to be $20 million in the hole. They're going to have some decisions to make. Tennessee's $24 million over. Tampa Bay's $43 million over.
But you figure Brady comes off the books in Tampa.
Yeah. And then the Saints they're negative $53 million. All they'll do is restructure Taysom Hill. I like that question. I'll let you answer it.
Okay. Ken, I do not think they're going to trade that pick. There was a point earlier when I thought that they might. However, I'm looking at either an offensive tackle or a defensive tackle at that number 10 pick. I think they can get one of the top guys in this draft. And the draft is actually pretty rich in good offensive line talent. Get a guy who can play multiple positions across the line and play guard and tackle. I think that's going to be where they need to make that investment, with Lane being, a little more injury prone lately, and some of the other depth issues they have on the offensive line. If they're going to re-sign Dillard or not, who knows? Yes, I think Sayamalu's also coming up on a contract. So I really think they need to make an investment in the offensive line or the defensive line, with those guys getting a little longer in the tooth. Although it is looking more likely that Sue and Joseph both might be returning on team-friendly deals. So, but that remains to be seen at this point.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
But a lot of mock drafts I've read that they are looking at their guy Ringo from Georgia as an outside cornerback.
Okay.
To replace Bradbury.
Yeah, I don't know if they go secondary again, though. I really think they got to get in the interior, in the trenches.
No, I agree with you.
They could pick a guy up in the later rounds.
And if Kelsey was, they already have picked successor, and the name is Cam Jurgens. Ken, if you haven't heard of him, he's a rookie this year out of Nebraska, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Nebraska.
And the kid is a tank.
He was actually handpicked by Kelsey. Kelsey actually was involved in the process and told Howie that this guy was the guy that they should be looking at. And then they went and they looked at tape, and he's basically a Kelsey-like player. I mean, he's quick off the snap. He can pull. He's fast, and he's strong. So I think that he's a guy who's going to be in that position for many years to come once Kelsey steps aside. which will be this year, I think.
I think you're right. As much as we don't want Kelsey to go, if it all it takes is another kick of beer to come back, please, Kelsey, come back. But
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yep.
So,
but I think that he's going to be a good talent in that position for sure.
I agree.
He's got the size and speed.
Yes. So the top 18 picks have been announced for the draft.
Okay.
And this is based off the non-playoff teams, obviously.
Yep.
Number 1, you have Chicago. 2 is Houston. 3 is Arizona. 4, Indianapolis. 5, with the trade with Seattle, you got the Denver Broncos. 6 is the Rams with the trade with the Detroit Lions. 7 is the Raiders. 8, Atlanta. 9, Carolina. 10 would be the Eagles from the Saints. 11, Titans. 12 goes to Houston in the Deshaun Watson trade. 13 is Jets. 14, Patriots. 15, Packers. 16, Commanders. 17, Steelers. And 18, the Detroit Lions. So I misspoke, though, because the Lions will get the 6th pick from the Rams in the Jared Goff trade, and the Seahawks get the 5th pick from the Broncos.
Right. Well, and the Texans and the Colts are both going to take quarterbacks. So there's going to be 2 quarterbacks going in the top 5.
So, well,
C.J. Stroud will probably go to Indy, and then the other kid,
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young to the Texans.
Okay. Now, what I read is actually a very interesting proposition. This was obviously speculation. You can't make anything official, but there is a rumor out there that the Colts have talked to Chicago about potentially moving up to number 1. Right? And the one thing that they would do is trade the number 4 overall, about 3 other picks, and a wide receiver by the name of Michael Pittman Jr. to Chicago for that number 1 pick. That'd be a lot to give up.
Yeah, that's a lot to give up for a wide receiver when you don't know who the quarterback's going to be. They got to get a quarterback.
Well, that's what I mean. Indianapolis would trade Pittman Jr. and 4 picks to Chicago, who had Fields.
Yeah.
So they would get the number 1 pick, and then you have Feast or Saddam, Stroud or Young.
Well, obviously they want Young if they're trying to move up to number 1.
You think Young's the best quarterback in the draft?
Yeah, I think he is. I think Stroud's not bad either, but I think they're definitely clearly the top 2. And then after that, there's a huge drop off.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be a fun show when we do it. We're going to dive into the NFL draft and really go over it. So, stay tuned for that one. What's next after this slide? Let me change this one. Yes, that is a good point also.
Yeah. Yeah, Hopkins is definitely out of Arizona, wherever he's going to land. But
we know this game's in progress.
Yeah, and we're still at 12-0.
It's on commercial. I'll let you know in 1 second.
Okay.
And then here is the second round matchups. And then my little note on the side is we had 8 people fill out playoff brackets, Ken, yourself included. I will finish updating the brackets at the end of this game, and then I will post a picture of how I'm doing the point system and tally up the points, and you will be presented with how you look so far. So I hope to have that done tonight, if not tomorrow, I promise.
Yep.
So now, out of the second round matchups, which one are you most excited for other than the Eagles game?
Myself personally, I think it might be the Bengals and the Bills. I think that, there's a lot of hype going to be around that game. So I think that, they're going back to Buffalo, where they were going to be play in the game where the tragedy happened with Hamlin. I think there's going to be a lot of emotion involved in that game. But I think the Bills at this point, I think that they rise to the occasion, and more than likely you're going to see Hamlin maybe there in the building, and I think it's just going to put all the motivation in the world with Buffalo in that particular game.
Yeah.
So I think that's a game I definitely want to watch. San Fran and Dallas, obviously, if Dallas ends up being the winner, is going to be an interesting matchup as well. And obviously one you want to keep an eye on based on the fact that whoever comes out of that game is coming to us. So
hopefully,
if all goes well.
I'm not counting out the Giants. I said that today. A couple of people I work with. I can't sleep on the Giants. I don't say it's a sure win. Giants are playing some damn good football right now.
Yeah.
But if we can control the run game, get the Jones, we win that game, yes.
Well, one thing you have to realize about the Eagles-Giants game is that only 3 times this year has the Giants scored more than 24 points in a game. So if you could look at a couple different things. You got to look at the fact that they just don't score those kind of points. Like I said, 3 times this year they scored over 24. And I talked earlier about Daniel Jones running 17 times in this last game. He's going to run for his life in this Eagles game. I really, the last game when Saquon played, he only had 28 yards rushing against the Eagles defense. They're horrible against the run. They're like 31st in total defense, and they're like 29th against the run. So I think that we need to come out and run the ball some more. Let Boston Scott, the giant killer, loose on them. Saunders went for 144 last time they played, in that first game. There's just a lot of things. This is the first year that the Giants have gotten to the divisional round since 2011. Yeah. So, there's just a lot of factors that kind of lean towards the Eagles doing what they got to get done. However, I will agree that they did play a good game this past Sunday. Absolutely. But it was against an inferior defense.
True.
So if they can do the same thing against the Eagles defense, that's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Kevin, he is a giant killer. Yes, sir. Yes, he is.
I'm agreeing with Curtis. Besides for the Eagles game, of course, I'm very looking forward to the Jacksonville Jaguars going into Kansas City to play Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Doug against Andy.
I as much as I want to see Doug pulled out, I think Andy has the better team. But I think Doug's going to have that team fired up, ready to go.
Yeah, and I mean they got nothing to lose. I mean they're on house money, so to speak. Nobody expected Jacksonville to make the playoffs. Nobody expected them to come out of that first round. So what the hell? They got nothing to lose. They can just let it all hang out. Kansas City's going to be the one feeling the pressure, I think, because they may be looking ahead to the what they have to face next. And, if they don't give Jacksonville enough respect, then they're going to get caught with their pants down.
The one thing I will admire Andy Reid for, since he knew they were still fighting for the number 1 seed, he played the starters week 18, which in the past years, you don't really see often. When a team has a number 1 seed locked up, those starters don't play, so that number 1 seed comes out flat. So
Yeah.
I think Kansas City will still have momentum from that game versus Las Vegas, but Jacksonville having the momentum swing they had versus the Chargers, it's going to be a good game. And I wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville pulls out a last-second win.
It should be a fun game to watch.
Yes.
And just going back to a couple comments there about the Eagles game, they got to score it quick and score early. Yes, absolutely. They got to get off to it. They got to establish the run game though. That I couldn't stress more that absolutely has to be what happens. This team cannot stop the run.
Mm-hmm. Kevin scored prediction 40
mistake.
13.
Wow. Okay. Mistake-free football. That's the key. You can't go in here and turn the ball over 4 times.
No.
You know, if we win the battle of the turnovers and we get the running game going, I don't think that we should be as concerned as we might have to be against a team like the Giants.
Now, the only thing that worries me, jokes on me when I say this, is while that game is being played, I have my bowling league this Saturday night.
Okay.
Everybody knows what happened last time I got mad at the bowling alley.
Yes.
So now you're going to throw a bowling ball in my hand, watching the Eagles game on a TV. So if you're in the Brooklawn area, stay out of Westbrook lanes. Only 2 losses were caused. Yes, Kevin, you're absolutely 100% right.
Yep. Turn the ball over 4 times, you lose.
Yep.
That's kind of the way it goes.
I know Kevin's going to laugh at me. It still hurts, by the way.
Yeah.
The Swans down, but it still hurts right here. So I probably definitely did something to it.
Probably.
Yeah, I love Westbrook lanes. Well, at least somebody does in this chat. I can't speak for Ron or myself, but I think that's my last slide. Yep, that is my last slide.
Okay.
So does my nose, you big one. He called me a big wuss. Hey, I still bowled 3 games with this Kev. I bowled a 210 my last game, okay? So do you want to try your new segment?
Sure, why not?
All right. We got Trey with fire in the chat. Welcome in, Trey.
Hey, Trey.
We have a new segment that we're going to introduce on Monday, Sports Gladiators. We're actually going to do it right now. It's going to be called Tessie's Take. I'm going to let Ron have the floor to himself for as long as you want. So if you want 5-10 minutes, you tell me. And I'm going to remove myself from studio. So now it's about to score again with 30 seconds left. Yeah, wow. And it's still 12-0. Jeez. So, sorry, I got distracted. But I'm going to run an intro, take myself out of studio. So all you're going to see on the screen is Ron. And he's going to have a certain topic he wants to debate on his own. So feel free to interact with this. Wow, and they did score. Wow.
Dalton again?
Yep. 11-yard touchdown pass. So yeah. I'm going to run his intro on, and then it's going to be all you, okay?
Okay. Okay. Now, and we already came up in the chat, so I'm just going to kind of take my take tonight and kind of bleed off of something that was already mentioned anyway. And it's all about the Los Angeles Chargers. Man, let me tell you, here's some facts. The Chargers forced 5 Jacksonville turnovers, 4 of them in the first half, 3 of them to the same player. Okay. And they became the first team in history to lose a game with a +5 turnover ratio. Okay. The Chargers led the game 27-0. He had a 1.2% chance of winning. and they allowed the third largest comeback in NFL postseason history. And I'm just rattling off some of these stats first before I get to my main point. Okay. He missed another extra point. Yeah, he's fired tomorrow. So, Travis Etienne, 25-yard rushing play on a 4th and 1. It's the longest gain on a 4th and 1 in the postseason. Trevor Lawrence had a 145.7 passer rating in the second half. You know, basically the Chargers just decided that they did not want to win this game. They just sat back on their heels and they let Doug and the Jacksonville Jaguars take it to them. And take it to them they did. Badly. I don't care if it's Sean Payton. I don't care if it's Peyton Manning. I don't care if it's anybody else on the planet. This guy, Brandon Staley, should have been fired yesterday. If he's fired today, he's not fired today. But he's got to go. Okay? The lack of discipline that they showed in this game, the Joey Bosa throwing his helmet down on the field and costing him a 15-yard penalty, you know, they were just coaching scared. I mean, they had a 27-0 lead. Come on, man. That's all you needed to do is just finish the game. And they just fell back. And they fell back and they curled up in a ball. And they just decided that they were just going to sit back and let Jacksonville take it to them. So, you know, the bottom line of the whole thing is he's got to go. Put him on a bus, put him on a plane, put him in a canoe. I don't really care. Get him out of here. He's gone. That's it. That's my take for the week.
I like that. That was pretty good. Really good. Thanks. If you guys liked it in the chat, let Ron know. I mean, I was sitting here listening to it, and that was good. I think that send them to Thailand with the Cardinals coach. There you go. Ken says it best.
There you go. Just send him anywhere, man. Just get him out. He's got to go.
Yeah. Curtis with the fire in the chat. Well said, Uncle Ron. There you go.
Thanks,
so,
guys.
That's going to be a new thing every Monday night. I'm going to let Ron have as much time as he wants, 5-10 minutes to go on a spiel. And yeah, it's going to be called Tessie's Take. Like, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be Ron's take on something. So I hope everyone enjoyed it.
That's probably the biggest thing that got me fired up this weekend. You know, other than the excitement of some of these games, it's just watching that team just fold up tent and just lay down. Just said all I needed to know about that coach.
You want Curtis tag Tyler in the chat? We'll see if we can get Mr. Tyler to pop in, even though might not be in the best of mood right now. So, yeah. Tyler, if you go back and watch this, I hope the game's not bad for you. I'm thinking everybody, but this might.
But he missed. This guy missed 3 extra points.
Yeah. That's the crazy part. But like Tom just looks lost. Like I got the game on next to me and Brady's just looking baffled.
And that's not very Brady like.
No, not at all.
Especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, especially in the playoffs.
So that's crazy.
But as we have seen this weekend, you can't count a team out just by one half.
No, you can't.
So, on Tessie's take, I thought it was going to be. You want my take?
Hey, man. The Flyers are on fire, man. They've been playing some great hockey. You know, and I don't know 1,000% about hockey, but I will tell you that this run's been kind of exciting, and I have watched a couple games, and I enjoyed seeing, defensemen playing defense, and the goalie play of Carter Hart and the other guy, whatever, I don't, his name's escaping me at the moment, but they actually had, I think, like about it was like 10-2-1 or 12-2-1 in their last 15.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing good hockey, but they hit a brick wall today. That just shows you how good Boston is.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you heard this news or not, but Jim Harbaugh has confirmed that he's going back to Michigan.
Yep, saw that today.
So,
all that NFL speculation was for nothing.
Well, he said he did an interview with the Broncos last week and had a conversation with the Carolina Panthers. So he never physically interviewed with more than one team, but
so Michigan probably gave him a little bump in his salary to stay.
Well, more than likely.
So that's probably what it was, just a play to get some more money.
Can you blame him?
No, but I mean, he's making a pretty good buck in Michigan.
Actually, I'm going to see if I can find a website, if I can, that pulls up.
And the number that's announced and the number he actually gets we know is two different numbers.
True. Yeah. Top college paying football.
Between shoe deals and side deals and everything else that goes on.
So how much do the highest paid college football coaches get paid in 2022? Nick Saban, $11.7 million, top of the list. We all know that.
Yeah.
Hi, Sam. Sam popped in?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Have we benched the kicker yet? You might have to, Sam. You never know. And then Kirby Smart, $11.2 million.
Okay.
Gabo Sweeney from Clemson, 10.5. Lincoln Riley, estimated $10 million plus at USC. Brian Kelly, 9.5 at LSU. Mel Tucker, Michigan State, 9.5. Ryan Day, 9.5. David Shaw was making $8.9 million. You guys are beating the crap out of Brady. I love it. I think most of America does, Curtis. Mario Cristobal,
Miami. Yeah,
Cristobal. $8 million. Yeah. He's at 9th. Jimbo Fisher from Texas A&M, 7.5. Lane Kiffin, 7.2. Jim Harbaugh, number 12th on the list, at just over $7 million.
Yep.
And he's tied with James Franklin at Penn State.
Ugh. We are overrated.
But that's just crazy, though. $11 million to coach college football.
Yep.
But yet these kids don't get nothing.
Not a Penn State fan, guys. Sorry.
Can I ask why?
Went to Miami. Can't be a Penn State fan. It's in the contract. When you fill out the application to attend the college, it's the number one question on the top of the page. Do you hate Penn State and Notre Dame? Check. Okay. Now we'll consider your application.
I did not know that. That could be a new testy stick right there.
Yeah.
So, the average head coach in the NFL is $6.6 million, while the average college football compensation for 108 Division I schools is $1.75 million. The you and Uncle Ronnie is from Miami. Now I know why he calls you Uncle Ronnie. I get it. Thanks for the clarification, Ken.
Nice.
Wait, so I'll call you. Okay, never mind. Moving on. No, I was just trying to see if there's any other wacky sports news I can bring up.
Yeah. I don't know. trying to think. There's enough wackiness in this weekend to cover our wacky quoting for the week, I would say. But yeah, this has probably been a year where there's been more controversy about referees than any other year that I can remember, because it just seems like it used to be a taboo subject that nobody would bring up. And man, this year, every time they have a bad game, they are getting hammered.
Yeah.
The press is on for full-time refs, not these part-time guys that are, lawyers during the week and come out on the weekends and, put on a pair of cleats and, try and keep up. That's, I think those days are quickly going to end, and you're going to see some new blood coming through the ranks, because there is just way, way too many games that are being decided by referee calls.
No, I completely agree. I mean, there's some games that have been won or lost because of referee calls. So it's a very bad point.
And I don't know if you noticed this in one of the games I was watching, they did what was called an expedited video review. So it wasn't a challenge, but it was a play where they actually, within like 15 or 20 seconds, changed the call based on a review in the booth. Sorry. And they said they're only doing it for the playoffs this year, but they didn't announce it beforehand. They just started doing it.
Can I ask you a question whenever you want, buddy?
Go ahead, man.
But no, go what you were saying while we're waiting for Ken's question. I actually like that idea. It speeds up the game. You don't have to stop, look at a referee, you're looking at a little corny little video booth. It gets done quicker. It keeps the game going.
Well, you got to look at the tablet before Tom Brady throws it.
Yeah, I wonder how many he's broken tonight so far.
I don't know. His track record's not real good with those things.
No. Well, they actually warned him that if he kept breaking them, they were going to fine him.
Yeah.
There will never be robots in the NFL, no.
But they are going to be in baseball.
They are going to be in baseball, yes.
Maybe as early as this coming year, or within the next couple of years, when the next collective bargaining agreement comes up. You're gonna have a robot calling balls and strikes.
But you see him coming in the NFL?
No, I don't think that you can. That it's just not something that's possible. I don't think.
You see a robot like zooming down the sidelines?
Yeah. Yeah, put them on the same wire as the robot cameras.
And
just let them zoom down the field.
Oh, Jesus. Thought that was all sports. Nope, not yet. Just baseball. So, speaking of baseball, actually, we finally have a resolution to the whole saga. I don't know if you heard about that or not.
Yeah.
Carlos Correa going back to Minnesota.
Yep.
6 years, $200 million with a vesting option that could bring it up to $270 million.
Yep.
And they said the biggest thing with the physical was his ankle.
Yes.
But Minnesota doctors knew about it prior to him trying to leave, so that's why they let it slide a little bit more than these other teams.
Yeah.
They were more familiar with it.
Right.
So, but the deal is done. He's back in Minnesota. No more Mets or Giant speculation. He's going to Minnesota.
Yep.
And then the only other one that happened since last time we were on here, Nelson Cruz, who's a pretty good solid DH, if you ask me, still at his old age, is going to the Padres. For a 1 year, $1 million deal.
Wow. Okay. More of a veteran presence than anything, I guess. Yeah.
And like I said, nowadays, both leagues have the DH rule, so.
Well, one thing I will say is that the Philadelphia Phillies have done every possible thing that they can do to go into this next year as a preemptive favorite to go deep in the playoffs. I mean, they've done amazing job of rebuilding the bullpen. I mean, you've got two of the top 6 pitchers in the minor leagues are Phillies prospects.
Yeah.
I mean, you picked up a utility infielder this week. You pretty much have picked up like four different bullpen pitchers. You all of a sudden now Bradley Falter is looking like they might be a 5 starter, and they might hold Painter down for a little bit. Where everybody was expecting Painter to be called up. I think they're going to give him at least another half a year, AAA, before they bring him up. But I think at some point next year, Painter will definitely be pitching and starting for the big club.
And I know the big thing right now with the MLB is arbitration. And I know there was a bunch of people who disagreed to deals. I agree they have rebuilt that bullpen and no, not this year.
No. I think he's got one more year.
Yeah.
He's got one more year on his contract, and then actually he's got more than 1 year on the contract, but I think when the sale of the team goes through is when you're going to see stuff happening. That's when you're going to see Ohtani get moved, and it's going to see when Trout's going to get moved.
Gotcha.
I think that's one of the first orders of business once they agree to the sale of the team.
Yeah. So the Phillies actually have re-signed, I think, 4 or 5 players that were eligible for arbitration. Rhys Hoskins being the biggest one, getting $12 million.
Right.
I heard he wants to be back. He does, but that contract is massive.
Yeah.
So, but Hoskins got $12 million. Then they were able to agree with Ranger Suarez at $2.95,
which is a bargain.
Soto, who they just got from Detroit, got 3.9. Good night, Curtis. Thanks for tuning in tonight.
All right, thanks, Curtis.
And then, Soto got 3.9 million.
Yep.
And then they agreed with Amado Sosa for $950,000, which I actually like Sosa a lot as a presence off the bench.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean, I think they've really shored up the team. I think that even with Bryce missing the first half, I think they've done everything they can to shore up every other area to make a run.
But the two that I'm concerned about, I mean, granted, it can still get done. I'm not too worried yet. But Jose Alvarado and Sir Anthony Dominguez both did not reach agreements on arbitration. So there are 2 major question marks right now. Obviously, you still have time before spring training starts, but you want to get these 2 locked in.
Yep.
So Bobby's in the chat saying, go Cowboys. The only night I guess we can allow that, Ron, right? He's saying go Cowboys in here, so.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hey, it's Bobby, man.
I know 2 people who are actually at this game right now in Tampa Bay. My sister and her boyfriend live in Myrtle Beach. He has season tickets to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but he's a Dallas Cowboys fan. He's held on to his tickets the last couple of years as an investment chip to make extra money, obviously. He called his buddy saying, you didn't sell my Tampa playoff tickets, right? He was like, no. He was like, good. I'm on the next flight out. So my sister and her boyfriend are sitting 50-yard line at this game tonight, and he's wearing his Dallas jersey.
Wow.
So
There you go.
I just thought that was kind of interesting.
I just saw an article that said that Chase Utley is going to be at the Phillies fantasy camp this year. It's the first time he's put on a Phillies uniform since 2015.
Well, unless you count his retirement, right?
Yeah.
Was re-signing Hoskins a smart move because of Harper's issues? Yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
Because now you can look at Hoskins as more than just a first baseman. Like you've been saying before, if you want to put JT at first and start another catcher, now Hoskins can move in to your DH role.
Or into the outfield.
True.
I honestly think that you're going to see in spring training, you're going to see Rhys Hoskins spending some time in the outfield.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's just my inkling. I don't have any information on that, but he's been out there before. They have a temporary need, and it actually solves two problems in one when you can get JT out from behind the plate for a few games.
True. He said, okay, Hoskins in right field.
Yeah, it would be right field, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got the arm for it. I mean, I think when he was in the outfield before, he wasn't left, but that was before they had acquired Schwarber. So Schwarber's pretty much locked into left. And then I think Marsh in center. And, then you got your right field, where's your question mark right now.
Yeah. Well, you have Castellanos, but
you have Castellanos, but
it's still a question mark.
Yeah. I mean, you can use him there and use Hoskins as a DH and put JT at first and put Stubbs or whoever behind the plate.
True. So here's that. I'm looking at this list of arbitration for each team. Here's a name that's really going to make you laugh. Remember Nick Pivetta?
Yes.
He was awarded $5.3 million from the Red Sox.
Wow.
Talk about an uprise in talent.
Yeah. Well, there's, the thing is with arbitration is if you have a good agent, you can make some money, because what they're basically doing is they're cherry picking stats and they're getting comparisons to players. And then they look at what those players are making and they say, okay, my guy's worth this because he's got the same stats as this guy. And, it all comes down to analytics and numbers.
He said, you maybe go out and get a few more decent players to help out if available.
I don't really know that they have too many holes right now. I mean,
I would add another outfielder.
Yeah, I mean, they could because it's just somebody to replace Veerling as that, fourth outfielder who can spell these guys. They need a day off where you can move, Schwarber or Castellanos into the DH spot, and throw somebody else out there that's not going to be a defensive liability. That would be the ideal situation. So, but then again, when you get closer to spring training, you're going to see guys that are going to, who get offered minor league deals, who maybe get dropped from another team and they scoop somebody up for cheap and kind of stash them and then bring them up to the main team.
Yeah. See if I can also find a list real quick.
But they did pick up a utility infielder last week.
The son of Roger Clemens.
Yeah,
Cody. Yep, Cody Clemens.
Yep.
So let's see. See if there's anyone that's on this list that's not signed yet. Well, we know Carlos Correa signed. I think all the big name free agents are done, locked in. So.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, but sometimes you can find a diamond in the rough, though. Like you said, in spring training, who can come up and surprise people.
Yeah. A guy that's, maybe another team brought on and they decide they're not going to, they're not going to stick with.
So, I don't know how much you know about stock car racing.
I know less about stock car racing than Russo knows about hockey.
Okay. Well, I'm still going to tell you a funny story that happened this week, okay?
Okay.
Because it involves a young child celebrity fulfilling a dream come true. Okay.
Okay.
Remember the name Frankie Muniz from Malcolm in the Middle?
Absolutely.
He agreed to a deal to join the Arca Menard Racing Series. So basically, you have the NASCAR, the Nationwide Truck Series, and then Arca is like the fourth top two. Okay.
Okay.
He's going to drive full time in that Arca Series this year.
Huh.
As a
Okay.
driver. Like
that's pretty cool.
You figure he hasn't like been in any movies or nothing since like Agent Cody Banks. This kid was 24, retired from acting completely, and fell off the face of the earth. And now all of a sudden he's making a comeback as a race car driver.
Hey, wow.
I know I beat a dead horse when I talk about different sports, but this is like the type of wacky news that's like entertaining to you.
Yeah.
So, a name that you haven't heard from in about 10, 15 years, and then all of a sudden he pops up out of nowhere.
Just the fact that you said Agent Cody Banks just kind of, took me back in the time machine there for a second.
Oh, Frankie Muniz actually was born in New Jersey, if that makes you feel better.
Well, did not know that.
Woodridge.
Okay.
So 1985. So yeah, he just turned what?
37?
38.
38?
So I'm gonna be 36 soon. And no, I will not be doing a birthday stream on my birthday. But,
and when's that again?
January 28th.
January 28th. That's right. You told me that before because that was when we were going to be in Myrtle Beach.
Mm-hmm. He said, yes, sir, the Woodbridge area. So Ken knows this Frankie Muniz.
Yeah.
Have Ken come on. Maybe talk about his childhood hero. Be like Frankie Muniz. But let's see if I can find another one list. Because then I know I don't want to talk about the wrestling thing without Mike here. Even though nothing's still confirmed or denied about that.
Well, the latest word is that the Saudi deal is not was not official. Okay. Because after that conversation took place, apparently Nick Khan, who's the CEO, the other CEO, actually met with Disney CEO Bob Iger and ESPN CEO last week. So there was a meeting that took place that could indicate that, as rumored, Disney is in the mix. There's also a possibility that AEW is in the mix with the other Khan.
Tony Khan.
That they may be looking to make the purchase and then merge it into one big company.
Wow.
Or run it against each other like the old WCW, ECW, WWE days.
See, now I would prefer that. Because then you can put back and forth between the different channels and see who has a better product.
Well, and then you can have, more forbidden door kind of stuff going on, which people seem to always get into, which is, cross promoting between promotions.
Yeah. Because it was back in, I would say, 19. Yes, they were the best years. I agree, Ken.
Yeah.
It was 1998 or 1999. Tony Schiavone, who used to be the announcer for WCW, made an announcement live on Nitro, telling people to keep their channel on TNT, or whatever channel it was. I think it was TNT, for Monday Night Nitro, because WWE was about to put their championship belt on a guy who walks around with a sock on his hand.
Yeah. And it boosted the ratings way above anything they had gotten for months, because everybody flipped over to see Mick Foley win that championship because it had been pre-recorded and it leaked out.
So
yeah,
they still do some pre-recorded stuff because when they're over in London with the time difference.
yeah,
But WWE has gotten better with the whole live aspect.
yeah.
Like back in the day, SmackDown was always recorded on Tuesday night, but then aired on Thursday night.
Right.
Like I remember I went to a SmackDown in Philly. It was on a Tuesday night. You could see me plain as day on the camera. Then that Thursday night, I watched it and I saw myself at least half a dozen times. And my parents didn't know I went that night, so they were like, "Wait, that's true." How are you hearing? How
Look,
you do?
it's that guy there punching the chair.
Easy, buddy. I can't come through the screen. But
Been beating up furniture for 20 years, man.
I did. I will sadly admit I did backyard wrestling for about 7 years and beat myself up pretty bad. I feel it more and more every day, and I'm getting closer to 36.
Oh, you poor guy. Dude, I've got T-shirts that are 36 and I still wear them.
I know. You told me that before. Thanks for hopping in, Ken.
Thanks, Ken.
But I don't know who else is still lingering in chat.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we lost John there for a second. Probably punched the keyboard. It's too crazy. Oh, there he is.
Sorry about that. I don't know.
Did you punch the keyboard?
Nope. No, I was checking something and it just went blank.
Oh, okay.
Weird. But
yeah.
I don't know. You have anything else that you would like to talk about, or you want to call tonight nice and early?
I didn't really have anything else for tonight. I mean, a little shorter than normal, but with the less volume of games, there's obviously we narrow our scope as we go forward. But I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about after this week's games.
That is true.
So next Monday should be a good conversation.
Hopefully we're talking about an Eagles win.
Hopefully we are. And then actually the following week I will not be on because I will be on my way back from Myrtle Beach.
I might still have to drag you on, or we might have to do one on that Sunday night because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to double check real quick. I do that a lot. NFL schedule. Yes, the NFC championship game is at 3:00, and AFC game is at 6:30. So we would know if the Eagles won the Super or in the Super Bowl or not if they make it that far by 6:00 that Sunday night.
Okay.
Would you still be in Myrtle Beach? Yes or no?
I will on Sunday night at 6:00. Yes, I will.
So you can do the show on your phone. You can pull up the link on your phone.
Yep.
Right?
Well, I can take my laptop too.
Eagles win. I want to do a live show from Myrtle Beach with Ron on the beach.
Okay.
How's that?
Sounds like a plan. We could do that.
January 29th.
I just have to make sure that I'm coherent and functioning well. We'll be coming off the golf course at that point. We'll probably get done golfing around 1:30, 2:00 maybe.
Well, then you have 4 hours. The Eagles game would be at 3.
And and then lunch after, and maybe a few adult beverages. And absolutely, I can do that.
Maybe we can even get Poncho to make an appearance.
Absolutely, yeah. Poncho will be there, and Jason will be there. So we could definitely do that.
I think that'd be fun. I think it'd be something different.
Hey, it's all good.
Because I did one back in September. I did a live show in Washington in the parking lot.
Right. I remember seeing that on the highlights.
So what I would like to try to do, I didn't really set a goal for this year. Maybe off the top of my head, rattle off, say, 5 live on location shows.
Yeah.
Where like you're actually, instead of sitting on a computer, doing it live on a location spot.
Okay.
So I might have 2 coming in the fall because I'm hoping to get up to New England for the Eagles Patriots game next season. So if I can do that, I'm also going to make a pit stop in Salem, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
So that's
Well,
my
hopefully you're not there the same weekend my wife and kids are.
true.
Because they're actually heading to Salem in at the end of June.
Okay. I wouldn't
End
be
of
up there
June.
to the fall
Yeah.
football season. So
Yep.
yeah, you're saying hello with this football.
Hey, Gary.
Laces out, really good.
Laces, yeah. Yeah. I don't think the laces have really mattered to this guy tonight.
I think you just missed another one.
Did he really? Oh, there's no way.
I think you just missed another one.
And what's his name again? Just so
Uh,
I know to look at the headline tomorrow when he gets fired.
It's Brett Maher. Maher.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's a veteran guy.
Yeah, he missed another one.
Oh, my God. An extra point or a field goal?
Extra point.
So it's 24-0?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
This one he bounced off the upright.
Oh, my God. Yeah, he's fired tomorrow.
What in the hell?
I never remember a kicker missing 4 in a game.
Buddy of mine in my group chat, Cowboys kicker getting fired tomorrow.
Yep, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, bye-bye, Brett. Absolutely, Gary.
I've never heard of that.
Nah, it's crazy. I mean, it's not like it's weather related.
No, it looks like a beautiful night in Tampa Bay. If I had my sister's boyfriend number, like I'd be texting him right now, like, John, what the hell is your kicker doing?
Well, everybody in the stands is just going like this when he kicks. And it's just blown.
Wait, what was it? The one year, Arizona game this year with the Eagles when Arizona missed that kick indoors.
Yeah.
Do you see the guy holding the fan up to the TV and there's the he's like, oh, holy shit, it worked.
It worked. That's crazy.
Absurd. I mean, Brady's not doing much himself. I'm going to actually look at the box score.
I don't think Brady's ever been shut out in a playoff game in his career.
I don't think so either. I mean, Dak's having a hell of a game. 18-23, 243, 3 touchdowns already.
Wow.
And he has a rushing touchdown. And then on the other side, yeah, I guess Sheldon is happy, Gabe.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, 12 of 27, 102 yards and an interception.
Wow. That's very non-Brady.
Mike Evans only has 2 catches for 14 yards.
I mean, it sounds more like it's Brady having a bad game than the Dallas defense, really. But
what's this? You gotta not even think about sending a kick back. Kick. Yeah, you gotta do something because they're lucky that Tampa Bay is not really playing Tampa Bay football because these extra points would have came back to haunt them.
Absolutely would have, no doubt. But Brady is just stinking the place up tonight, apparently.
And now Tampa Bay just turned the ball over again. Wow. Godwin just had a fumble and Dallas recovered it.
Oh, jeez. That's insane.
So 9 minutes left in the third, so you have a whole quarter and a half to go, but like it looks like it's all Dallas.
Yeah. Yep. Just multiply by 6 because he's not making no extra points. They should go for 2.
They might say he was down. Okay. I'm trying to watch a little bit, Kev. I got it on my right hand side. I don't want to hold a TV screen on screen, I might get in trouble for copyright. But if Tampa reviews, they will win. Well,
Okay.
all turnovers are reviewed automatically.
Yes, absolutely, they are.
So this will be overturned. That would, how you say it, Ryan? Expedited challenge.
Yes, expedited challenge. That's what they called it.
I don't know. I mean, it looks like he has possession as he's going down, but the question is the ball moving?
Yeah.
So that's
Possession and a football move.
Well, no, he definitely made a football move. He was running with the ball.
Yeah.
But as he was getting tackled, he spun, and he's falling backwards. The ball's right here.
Okay.
So, and then it pops out as he's hitting the ground. But the question is, did he still have possession of it when he hits the ground?
Right. And what part of his body part of his body hit the ground before he lost the ball?
So it's one of those tough ones, though, because it was called a fumble in the field. And they don't like to be wrong, so it's usually not overturned. But they have gotten better. We were talking about earlier about these expedited reviews.
Yeah. If he goes down on his back before the ball comes loose, then he's down by contact.
Yes.
The ground can't cause a fumble.
He was flat on his back. So then, it's
going to get overturned.
No question about that. So I'll actually be off that Sunday for the championship Sunday. Cool. So I'm off from work for my birthday.
Oh, there you go.
My weekly vacation I always put in for.
That's always nice.
It is. Gives me a... But
of course, did you want to, before we jump off tonight, you want to talk about the rest of the week?
Sure. Oh, yeah. Do a little rundown of the crazy, busy, wacky week I got coming up? Sure.
Yep, absolutely.
So, obviously, we had our weekly Monday night show. Myself, Ron, usually Mike's on. Mike, if you're watching, hope whatever happens all right. You come back soon. Tomorrow night, I have a guest host for entertainment night. Her name is Jenny. She's never been on camera, so it should be quite the fun night. She has prepared 30 questions about the TV show Friends. So if you like the old TV sitcom Friends, hop on tomorrow night and play some trivia while also supporting a good friend of mine. Wednesday night, I am premiering a new show called Video Game Mania. And I'm going to basically this week dive into like an explanation of the show, what to expect, blah, blah, blah. And then we're going to talk about the history of what started video games, because I found a very cool article to share with everybody. Tampa won, no fumble. There you go.
Yep.
Turning point. And then Thursday, as of now, we don't have a show, but hopefully next week, Mike is ready to release his show. That's going to be called the Mike Russo Show, where it's just going to be Mike doing Mike whatever he wants to do. I have no say in it. I won't be on it. I will be looking in studio to help him out if he needs it, but I won't be physically on camera. And then Friday night is a lovely Friday night movie night. And this week we're diving into the top grossing movies of 2022. So we already have a subject picked out. So that'll be a fun conversation as well. And then Saturday we have the lovely Eagles game that I'm going to be biting my fingernails as much as I can so I don't punch anything in the process. But it's going to be a fun, exciting week on the show. So pop in one night, pop in 2 nights. Anything you guys can do to support the page is greatly appreciated.
Make sure you share and subscribe and like. We're trying to trying to make sure we spread the word. We appreciate you guys that are here every week. We couldn't do the show without you. But just continue to do what you can to spread the word, as we're trying to do as well. Especially with YouTube, where people can go back and actually watch the back shows, watch the end of the year New Year's special, which was outstanding, which is only about a 35 or 40-minute watch, but it really goes into the history of the channel and all the things that have occurred since the beginning, since that very first show.
Even the 8-minute end of the year video I did that I personally did myself.
Right.
Which was a lot of work.
Which was a great watch. So that end of the year video is a lot of fun.
So what Gary means by this, we have he messaged me last night, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to go to the Eagles game on Saturday? Standing room only tickets are $450 a piece. So I said, you buy the tickets, I'll get the limo.
Okay.
I think that's a fair trade-off. He spends $1,000 for the game tickets. I'll pay for a $500 limo.
Yep.
So it says I'm looking forward to it. I'm working next week, so I got to remember to log on and see all the shows. I'll definitely spread the word the best I can. Kevin, I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate that, Kev. I mean, we really do. We're building quite a diverse channel here with a lot of different interests. There's something for everybody pretty much, so we're hoping we can continue to grow it and try new things and take feedback from you guys and continue to do everything that we can to make it the best channel it can be.
I mean, and if you also follow the page, I had recently just made a post. Like, if you have any suggestions on certain topics you want to talk about within reason, we can make it happen. I love talking about different things. Ron does too. Well, we try to be as knowledgeable as we can. If we have to, we can always look something up too. I have a second monitor now right next to me, so I can have the show on one, and I can also pull up something on the side monitor next to me that helps aid the show. Plus, like Ron said, we love people who interact with us while we're live doing this, because then we feed off you guys. If you have questions during the show, you can ask them. If you have comments, we like to acknowledge everybody that comes in the chat, so nobody feels left out.
Yep.
So, and Kevin Peak, another Kevin, saying,
okay.
0-4, Brady is making Dallas look like a football team.
Yeah.
I just never seen a kicker miss 4 extra points.
No, never.
I mean, granted, the kick is a little bit harder nowadays than it was back in the day when it used to be just that simple chip shot. I like the fact that the NFL moved it back, because then you might have something like this happen. But like my dad always says, a kicker has one damn job: kick the ball.
Yeah, it's true.
So
I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for 2 next time if they score again.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. If it still remains 24-0, and Tampa scores and gets a 2-point conversion, it's a 2-possession game.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's 0-5 now. He missed the last one. Oh wow, he missed the last one last game.
Oh geez. Yep.
What was that comment at? What was that? Hold on. What is that? Hold on. There it is. Bye, Brett.
Bye, Brett.
But
see, you can get an Uber with Brandon Staley, and you guys can both ride off into the sunset together.
Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley's on the next flight to Thailand with Cliff Kingsbury. Like, before we sign off, what is up with that? One-way ticket to Thailand and just up and left. Is there a football league up in Thailand that I don't know?
Oh, I don't know. It must be one that nobody knows about.
Is it on the Happy Ending League or something?
If it's in Thailand, it could be.
I mean, just to hear he booked a one-way ticket and just up and left.
You play football. Me love you long time.
Oh, man. Bond, you're so right. If Staley isn't fired, that team has no intentions of ever winning.
No. And you can't have a quarterback like Justin Herbert and some of the talent you have on that team and waste their prime by continuing to keep this guy around. He's just got to go. Got to go.
Well, the bigger question would be, since last week they had nothing to play for, did he make the dumb decision by playing the starters? Granted, Joey Bosa played this week, but you don't have Mike
Yeah.
Williams.
Yeah. And I mean, you
That's a
don't
game
have Mike
changer.
Williams because of his stupid decision.
Yeah.
Just another reason why he's got to go.
Kev, I don't know how much you watched the show. If you go back and watch, there is a new segment on the show called Tessie's Take. And Ron went on, I'd say, a good, solid 5-minute spiel. Like, it was good. Exactly. I was just going to say, Herbert is better than Lawrence at this point and way better offensively weapons, even without weapons. Yes and no.
Yes and no. Yeah, I'll go yes and no on that. I mean, I think that Herbert had a pretty good year. But I think if you're talking about who has a higher ceiling, I think that Trevor Lawrence has a higher ceiling in the long run. If he continues to have Doug continue to develop him, my belief is that Trevor Lawrence could be like a top 5 guy.
I mean, hold on, I'm just looking at one more thing. I mean, granted, Herbert had more yards. Herbert had 4,739 compared to Lawrence's 4,113, but they both had 25 touchdown passes, and Lawrence had 2 less interceptions.
And Jacksonville was, primarily relied very heavily on the run with Etienne.
Yeah, because Etienne Jr. finished with 1,125 yards. So,
yeah,
like, I don't even see Austin Eckler. Where's he at? Yeah, I don't even see the Chargers running back on the top 50. So, like, yeah, I mean,
they're past first team for sure.
So, I mean, yeah, Herbert may have a better skill set, but as long as he sticks with Doug and Prestero, he's going to be a top 5 quarterback next year, hands down.
Yeah, I got to agree.
Just to see what he did this year.
Yeah, with only, really one training camp with Doug,
Yeah, Robbie and you, basically the Chargers defense lets them down in the second. Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to coaching.
Yeah, they curled up in a ball and they got back on their heels and they went into the prevent. And like I've said here a couple times before, the prevent defense is meant to prevent you from winning. And that's basically what they did. They let Trevor Lawrence and the Jags just pick them apart.
Yeah, pretty much.
I totally agree with you there, Robbie.
Who is their defensive coordinator right there? Do you know?
In the Chargers?
Yeah.
I can find out.
If you want, I can look it up real quick, though. Wait. I might type in the San Diego Chargers or the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah.
Oops.
Ronaldo Hill.
Ronaldo Hill?
Yes. It's his second season as the defensive coordinator for the Chargers.
I've never heard of that guy.
He played for 10 years in the NFL.
Who is he? That's what I'm trying to figure.
I don't know who he played for.
Hold on. Ronaldo Hill. Here we go. Oh, he was he was played on 4 different teams. He played for Arizona, Oakland, Miami, and Denver.
Okay.
And he was a 7th-round pick back in 2001. So, I mean, he's been in the league.
Yeah. He's been around.
But what's crazy is he was a defensive backs coach in Denver for 1 year, then got the defensive coordinator position with the Chargers. So
he was a graduate assistant at the University of Wyoming, and then coached defensive backs at University of Pittsburgh before he came to the NFL.
So that's a pretty big step from defensive back to D coordinator.
Yep.
And then what's Kevin saying? At one point, Lawrence had more completions to the Chargers than he did to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if your name is Asante Samuel Jr.
Yeah.
So.
He threw 3 to him, right?
Yeah. Just by himself.
Yeah.
So. All right.
All right.
Anything else that you would like to add?
No.
We got talking a little bit more?
I don't think so. I think unless somebody else in the chat's got something they still want to talk about. Anybody got anything else that we didn't hit on?
Kevin saying, in the first quarter. Yeah. Asante Samuel had a great first quarter.
Yeah.
One for the record books.
Yeah, there are a lot of record book things going on this weekend.
Yeah, that is very true. I mean, I'm just looking at the stats from this year, and like looking at receiving right now. Like it used to be a challenge to hit that 1,000 yard mark in receiving.
Yeah.
This year alone, you had 22 players hit 1,000 yards receiving.
Yeah.
And the Eagles had 2 of them in the top 10.
Nice.
Let's talk Cabrera. Just kidding. That's a whole show in itself. Too soon on who's gonna.
Yeah, I would say it's too soon. I got to see who comes out. When it's down to 4, I'll be ready to make a pick. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying all along. I think it's the AFC winning this year. I just think the 3 teams in the AFC are a lot stronger than the NFC. But you have a preview of a Super Bowl matchup this week with Cincinnati and Buffalo.
Right.
If they were in different conferences, that would be a Super Bowl right there.
Yep.
So.
I'll be interesting to see the Dallas Niners if Dallas holds on. Dallas and the Niners.
Yeah, we can't make picks because this game's incomplete yet, so we don't know if it's going to be Dallas or not.
If it goes that way, because, crazier things have happened this weekend.
Yeah, that is very true.
So.
But I think I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, everybody, Gary, Kevin, bite your tongue, Giants, Eagles beating.
Big Red. So you've got Eagles, Chiefs.
Yeah, the Eagles, Chiefs. A lot of people have Eagles, Buffalo on the board.
Yeah.
Have so.
Gary says, any comments on Giants and Eagles? Okay, John, let's recap our takes on that. You want to go first?
You can.
Okay. Well, I mean, for me, I think that a couple of key things. Daniel Jones ran 17 times against the Minnesota defense. And if Minnesota, who is at best a marginal defense, can flush him out of the pocket 17 times, then he is in for quite a lively afternoon with his legs against this Eagles defense, because the Giants are lousy against the run defensively. They're 31st against the run, or 29th in total defense. They've only scored over 24 points 3 times this year. So, I mean, if you're looking for something to look at, I mean, look at the fact that they don't score points. They're going up against a much better defense. And providing Jalen is at least close to what he was at the beginning of the season, which I think they take the reins off this week and just let him play his game. I don't think they're going to constrict him like they did in the last time that they played each other. I think they're just going to turn him loose and just hope for the best. And, we need to run the ball. We need to run the ball early and often. Boston Scott, the giant killer, has got to be involved in the offense. I mean, Miles Sanders, you got to establish that run. And then I think it'll be a lot easier for them to put up some points. And the Giants just are not going to put up more than 24 points against the Eagles defense. There's just not going to happen. So, you may, after seeing them play this past week, yeah, they had a real good game. I'll give them credit for that, but they were playing Minnesota's defense. So, bottom line is, if they go in with the right game plan and to keep the pressure on Daniel Jones and they don't let him run wild and they contain him and just make him move around, then you're going to force him into mistakes. And you force him into mistakes, and the Eagles led the league in sacks. They have a strong nose for the ball. So I think you're going to see them get a couple interceptions off of Jones, and I think they're just going to frustrate him all day. And there is always a possibility they could be a little rusty, Gary, just adding to what you're saying. I think any team that has a bye always runs that risk, but it's my belief that Nick Sirianni and the coaching staff has made sure that they at least kept them game ready. So I'm hoping for a real good game. Not taking them for granted, but I still think that they're the better team. They are a 7.5 point favorite. And I think that you're going to see the Eagles kind of put it on them a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Gary has a good point there. Like every time your team has a number one seed, luckily for the Eagles, they didn't have that couple weeks off beforehand. They play all the way up to the last week of the season. But in years past, you see that number one seed is already locked in, secured. So they take a step back the last couple of weeks. So the Eagles having that Week 18 game means something, and playing the whole game actually might help them keep that momentum going.
Yeah.
So same thing with the Kansas City Chiefs. They did the same thing. Their starters played the whole game in Week 18. So, yeah, normally a number one seed will be rusty, but actually having a meaningful Week 18 game helps. So
yeah, I agree. Thanks, Kev. Thanks for that comment. I appreciate that.
That was more perfect analysis of the game than any of the so-called experts could come up with. Wow, wait till you see this Buck CD. Oh boy. Wow. That was a heck of a play. I mean, right at the end of the third quarter left, so Brady has 15 minutes to score 16 points if they get this 2-point conversion. So,
hey, it's stranger things have happened.
But no, Ron nailed everything right on the head. Like everything I was gonna say, like, Eagles got to come out aggressive. You got to play aggressive defense. You got to go down. You get the ball first. You got to go down and score and get your crowd hyped up with an open series drive. And then your defense has to come on the field the first series and make a statement. Either it's get a turnover, get a sack, get something to get that crowd so much into a frenzy that it rattles the Giants to the bones. Because if you let that crowd go quiet, you might be in trouble.
Yep. Got to set the tone.
Easiest way to put it.
Absolutely.
But
totally agree.
So we will see what happens 8:15 on Saturday night. If I'm here next Monday with the cast, the bowling ball machine win again.
Then you'll know what happened.
But I'll be there, and I'm going to be loud as hell. Kev, I better hear you from the bowling alley.
Kev, you're going to the game?
Don't say it. 24-6, John, Tampa. Well,
That's okay.
It's still within reason. It's still a 3-possession game.
Yeah.
But you have Tom Brady.
Yep.
So don't count out Tampa Bay just yet.
No. You can't. You really can't.
Unless Brady retires in this commercial break, he's still in the game. So
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, if I have season tickets, I'm trying to talk to my brother about selling our tickets because he's in charge of that. Oh, sure, don't sell them. I'll go with you, Kev. You got a date right here, buddy.
It's kind of a temptation when you see what you can get for those tickets, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, years back I could have got season tickets. At the time I said it was a bad investment, but I'm also thinking if we make money and it pays for next game, that's more important.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
So, a very good point.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I think that's all we have for tonight. I will be back tomorrow night for entertainment night with my friend Jenny. If you like the TV sitcom Friends, come hang out, play some trivia, support a guest host. I know she's looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to another host joining the show and having fun with it. As always, we just try to have fun on the show and interact with everybody. So we had Kevin in here, Gary's hanging out. We had Robbie pop in. Your nephew Ken popped in. I'm glad to hear he's feeling better.
Yep.
Bobby with a one comment, go Cowboys.
Sheldon
was in here earlier.
Yep.
Curtis is always in here.
Curtis.
Sam Simmons even popped in complaining about the Cowboys, which I found hysterical.
We didn't see Tyler tonight.
Tyler,
Gary?
I'll have to give Tyler a check and make sure he's okay.
Yeah. We had Gary in here.
What's this? Good night, boys. I enjoyed it as always, and I love my friends, and yes, I still have a penis. I think I'm gonna.
I'm very happy for you.
Yeah. I think on that note, I'm ending the show. Good night, guys. Oh yeah, what is this? But if I see my friends on TV, I have to keep it on the TV. But if I see friends on TV, I have to. Oh, okay. He's saying that he loves Friends, and yes, I still have a penis. But if I see Friends on TV, I have to keep it on the TV. and then he's telling you to shit on it. On that note, I'm ending this. Good night, guys. We'll talk.
Good night, guys. Thanks for stopping in. Don't forget to spread the word, like and share. We can't do the show without you guys. We appreciate you being in here. Thank you so much.
I completely agree, and there is plenty more new shows coming soon. As always, we like to change up things every week. I know we rattle on sometimes about certain topics, but every week's a new show. Every day's a new show. So we'll see you tomorrow night.